Good evening, viewers. This is Lemon Blossom here. I recently drove about 7.5 hours to Queensland one morning to Coolangatta on the Gold Coast to take on the Choofas Triple Extra Large Burger Challenge, which is a 1.5 kilo hamburger served up with about another kilo to 1.5 kilos of chips. The whole challenge is advertised about 2.5 kilos and it costs $80, but if you eat it in under an hour, it's free. Now, I was pretty hungry when I arrived. I just only had an energy drink on the 7-hour drive there. But looking at the challenge, it was quite daunting just because of its sheer size, and I hadn't trained for this challenge. I wasn't sure if I used a lot of liquids, if I'd actually be able to fit all of this in, because there seemed to be easily about 1.5 kilos of chips. If you look at a bag of chips, you might tear open 1 kilo to put into your air fryer. With a lot of the chips coming in 1 kilo bags, it looked like at least 1.5 of those. The burger itself is delicious and fresh, as is all the food at Choofas, but it's actually designed around 3 Aussie burgers jammed together. So the patty is solid beef and it weighs around 660 grams. There's a whole heap of salads there. There's 3 rashers of bacon, 3 eggs, 3 fried pineapples, 3 slices of cheese. The bun is quite large, but very fresh. You can see what I'm doing here as I've started eating it. I'm trying to use the salad here. I'm wrapping the meat in beetroot to avoid using too much water. This is my first sip of water, which was probably about 7 minutes in. Many people have attempted this challenge. Speaking to the owners afterwards, he said 970 people have attempted this challenge and only 86 had been successful. Now, I'm not really good at sums, but that's something like 884 people had failed this challenge, which is a very good challenge. So it definitely gets people in. They just see it as a burger and chips and think, yeah, I can do that. But it's very large and you need a good strategy. I've done quite a few challenges over the last 35 years. So I kind of try to pull out all stops here. You can see I've used the salad as a liquid to help get the beef down, which was delicious. And I've tried to use the 2 halves of the bread in the bun, filled up with salad, folded over like a taco to try and make it juicy and try and avoid using copious amounts of water, which obviously wasn't going to finish somewhere with this huge pile of chips. And at the end here, I've actually started using some of the pineapple mixed with the chips to help to get them down. I'm trying to limit the amount of water I'm putting in. There's a lot of salt on these chips, and now I'm getting a little thirsty. And I'm also thinking I've still got like a 3 to 4 hour drive to the middle of Queensland to a mate's wedding that I'm heading to on this day. So I'm really starting to cram it in. I'm well inside the hour. It's less than half an hour at this point. I think you've probably seen there's quite a few people online that have attempted this challenge, famous competitive eaters and food challenges. And it can be done if you've got a big capacity. Lucky I'm like a fairly large swine that can fit this in. But here I am just finishing up with the chips. I'm starting to get a bit of pain on my side, thinking how I'm going to drive for the next 4 hours, half asleep in a car after already driving 7 hours in the morning. So that's just something I'm going to have to deal with. And I finish up and I think I stand up and go, how much do I owe you? They said, it's all yours for free, sir. So I got the $80 burger, chips, water, and staggered about 4 blocks back to my car and pressed on and drove off into the distance. And that's Lemon Blossom versus the Choofas or Choofas extra large burger challenge. What a great day to be Lemon Blossom, not a great day to be a big burger.